ChatGPT just got some massive upgrades on the O3 and O4 mini today. You can see here the limits, number one, have increased. There's actually three big upgrades to ChatGPT today. I'll be running through all of them, but the main one right now is that there are now more responses available on ChatGPT. So it's actually had quite a big upgrade. So this is a great article by Testing Catalog, Alexei Shabanov, and essentially you can now use ChatGPT O3 much more per week. So they've actually doubled the limit to 100 messages per week. Now there's more upgrades which I'll be talking you through today, including in a second. Let me show you this. So first of all, they've had an upgrade on the message usage, and also images have now just come to Playground. So you can use the new image feature inside ChatGPT Playground. Additionally, they have a new feature that I'll come on to later. Kazradash says, is this a ChatGPT helpline? Mine's been a bit thick and not working. That sounds about right, to be fair. We've all been there. And shout out to Kazradash if you're not already following him. So we're going to get straight into this. And essentially, you can use ChatGPT a lot more. So, previously there was a limit. I think it reset every like 7 days, something like this. Now it's increased to 100 messages per week, which is absolutely awesome. It's a really powerful model when you actually learn, okay, what can you do with it, right? So one of the things that I found was like, for example, if I understand ChatGPT and the O3 model more, I can get better results. And what I mean by that, for example, is like the more I use it, the more I unlock and get out of it. Also, the API has had an upgrade as well. So O1, O3, and O4 mini are available to all API usage tiers. And there's actually, I think, bigger and better limits on the API as well now as well. So if you go into ChatGPT now, you can say, for example, if we select ChatGPT O3, which uses the advanced reasoning, you can say something like, okay, knowing what you know about me, because they've just implemented this new memory feature that actually remembers everything that you've talked about previously with ChatGPT. You can search previous chats, etc. And then you can say, okay, knowing what you know about me, you can get very, very personalized suggestions. And I would say that ChatGPT in some ways, especially if you use it day to day, knows you sometimes better than you know yourself. Like it's like, for example, Facebook's algorithm, it can predict when people are going to break up in their relationships because it understands what's going on and how frequently people talk to each other, etc. Right? And so from that, I would say ChatGPT is kind of like the next evolution of this because it can give you like more personalized responses. So for example, we say, okay, knowing what you know about me, how would you suggest I approach learning a new skill? And then it's going to go into thinking mode right here. And also what I would say here is it's one of the fastest thinking and reasoning models that ChatGPT has with its level of power. Now you can use, for example, ChatGPT O4 and stuff like that, but that typically takes a lot longer to respond. So you can see here, it only takes like 15 seconds. And then it comes back with very, very personalized responses here. So for example, it's like, right, Julian, you already have fast moving link building agencies. So think of learning a new skill, it's building a fresh link building campaign, set a clear objective, choose the right prospects, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you that right there, right? Or we can say, if we go back onto a new chat now, say, knowing what you know about me. Let's see what else it right. I mean, you can even get the drop downs here. It's kind of like Google Auto Suggest, but it's inside ChatGPT. And it's like, right, okay, what travel destinations might suit my interest? So what hobbies do you think I should explore? Right? You get very personalized suggestions. Some people are still asking me, by the way, for Manus invitations. Honestly, I'm going to give you a recommendation here. It's cheaper and probably better if you use it in the right way. We've got tutorials inside the AI Profit Boardroom. But essentially, if you go into the AI Profit Boardroom and you look at my section on GenSpark here, and you see some of the stuff we've created, GenSpark is a more powerful tool than Manus, honestly. I would recommend that you check out GenSpark. From what I've seen, like the outputs are just 10 times better. So here it gives me some ideas. This is actually something I've been thinking about learning for a while, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it's also got, for example, Blitz Chess. I used to play that, but honestly, it's a massive distraction from business, podcasting, hosting. I kind of already do that. Sprint triathlon training. I don't know how I feel about that. And community mentoring, we actually do that with the SEO Elite Circle. But essentially, the most relevant response was the one that was actually thinking about learning anyway, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Already trained Muay Thai, so it's kind of similar. And yeah, you can see how easy it is to get responses here. And again, you now get 100 messages instead of 50 messages per week, which means the limit is way, way upgraded. Okay. Now let's talk about the next feature, which is a new upgrade inside ChatGPT. This is the scheduling feature, right? So they've just introduced scheduling. This is a new ChatGPT web announcement. Let's open this tweet up so I can show you. It's a new ChatGPT web announcement. Use O3 and O4 Mini to schedule tasks. Okay, so you can actually get this new feature here to schedule tasks with O3 and O4 Mini. Now, you might say, okay, but how does that differ? Because there was already like a scheduled tasks option inside ChatGPT. But one of the biggest issues with that was that it was not very smart, right? Like ChatGPT 4 or 4.0, when you're scheduling tasks, it's actually pretty annoying and it's not that smart, right? But if you go onto O3, I haven't tested this out yet, but I want to try it. I think that you would get much better and much more personalized responses, which is going to improve the output. So for example, if we say inside ChatGPT O3 now, okay, based on what you know about me, right? So we're using that memory feature inside ChatGPT. What tasks could you schedule and automate for me with ChatGPT scheduled tasks? We'll test that out, see how that goes. But yeah, essentially you can now use O3 and O4 Mini to schedule tasks. I don't really use O4 Mini that much, to be honest with you. I just think like it's a little bit slow, it's in beta, and it doesn't seem as smart as O3. Like the responses I get from O3 just feel kind of much more human, and like there's much more sort of there's better results. So you can see here it's like, right, the user is asking for suggestions on tasks that could be automated with scheduled tasks, blah blah blah, right? And then it just gives us a bunch of ideas, right? And what's quite interesting about this is all personalized to me and the day-to-day tasks that I typically work on, which is awesome, right? Because we're not getting like anything that's not very impressive or not very interesting, or it's totally generic, like automate your to-do list or some, BS like that. These are literally very, very personalized, practical things that I do every single day inside ChatGPT. It's like, why are you not automating this with ChatGPT and O3, right? So it's much smarter. So for example, daily macro summary. At 9 p.m., ChatGPT gathers your food notes from the day. It returns a strict format you like. I'm very particular in the way that I track my macros and how I do it inside ChatGPT. And then it's like, right, protein, calories, percent of fats, and also breaks down each meal and gives you a one-line recap. Super powerful stuff. Daily hours tracker prompt, right? You got here, so it's like, right, at 4 p.m., you receive a nudge to pick 5 partners from your leads prospecting list. Send a value first message, and at 8 p.m., ChatGPT asks for outcomes and logs them in tracker. So it's kind of like having a personal assistant that can easily just give you tons of ideas on stuff that you don't even realize you should be automating, which is super powerful, to be honest with you. And it's going to give you much better results. So doing this is really, really good. And then also, you could, for example, say inside ChatGPT, okay, anything even more personalized, and actually this is a better way to use this, right? So this is a difference. It's a reasoning model. You can schedule tasks with it using the upgrade. So what you can do, for example, is you could say, okay, based on this, analyze and understand which of these tasks, based on what you know about me, would help me save the most time. AKA, what's the 80-20, right? Well, how are you going to get the biggest gain? Because maybe you don't want to automate all these tasks at once and realize actually none of it works or the system's not that useful, etc. But if you could, for example, automate like the 80-20 of that, then you're going to get the biggest results first, and that's going to save you the most time in the least amount of time possible. So I'm just going to put these prompts from today inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you want to steal them from me, all right, so based on what you know about me, what tasks could you schedule and automate with ChatGPT tasks? And also, if we go back to ChatGPT here, we'll take the other prompt, which is this one, and we'll test it out and see how it goes. All right, pretty crazy that it gave me like 15 different items that it knows I do every single day to automate and improve. So let's see what we get back inside ChatGPT here. So I just think this is like a much smarter way of automating stuff. Some people say, well, what's the difference between this and say using your calendar app or something like that? It's like your calendar app doesn't know anything about you. It doesn't understand who you are. It doesn't understand what you do day to day. It doesn't understand, what are the typical tasks. And sometimes you might not even have that awareness, right? But ChatGPT is really going to understand your task day to day because it remembers everything that you do and it knows where you spend all your time, right? It can actually probably monitor inside the system how many minutes you spend, what tasks you're doing, and then what tasks you can automate inside here. So for example, here it's like, right, I weighed up 3 factors, and you can actually see the thinking here. So it's like, right, I need to figure out which task could save the most time using the Pareto principle, focusing on Julian's context. So he's an SEO entrepreneur, etc. Is what to do. And then it gives us a list of stuff we could automate. So it's like, right, we'll focus on those. And then it weighed up 3 things that we could easily automate and improve, right? So it's like, right, I weighed up 3 factors: frequency, how often the task occurs, and manual minutes you spend per day, which is crazy, right? And look at that. It's like, right, weekly time saved here, about 4 hours to 10 minutes on daily ad performance digest. And so it's like, right, you currently dig into Facebook ads every morning for about 60 minutes, schedule task and pool spend, cost per call, booked, etc. And we could schedule that in. All right. And then if you want to automate any of these tasks, you can say, okay, automate the daily macro summary, and we'll plug it in. First letter says, yo, I finally caught you live. Love watching your videos. Watch everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. That is super kind. So we'll wait for that to load. And now it's planning the details for the schedule. So that's the other good thing as well, is like you don't need to figure out, okay, when you're going to do the task, what days it's going to be logged, etc. It's just scheduled it in nicely and easy, right? So it's like, got it. I'll remind you every single day at 9 p.m. to send your food notes over. And then you can see inside here, we've got the task created automatically. So it's like, right, log the macros, tell me to send today's food notes so you can return my daily macro summary in the exact format. And you could also switch this to like maybe 8 p.m., something like that. So we can change the date on here. And or you can go inside, you can delete it, you can pause it, you can hit save, and you can change the name. All right, if we hit save, boom, shakalaka, we've got that done. Now you might be wondering, okay, what does that look like in reality? So let me show you an example of what that, an example of what the scheduled task looks like. So I'm just going to save this section inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And then if we go inside an example email update, here's one that I scheduled before, right? And it's like, this was actually from the old version of scheduling tasks, but you can see the exact same thing. So it's like, right, it sends you an email from ChatGPT. It's got the task updates. It tells you where it's up to. It's all right, boost SEO with smart ChatGPT prompts. If we click on view the message, we can see the details of that right here, right? The whole task was automated inside ChatGPT. Boom, crazy stuff. And it gives us all the details on like how to improve SEO with ChatGPT. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how do you automate this? How do you get it set up, etc.? So the main thing here is if you go inside your settings and then click on tasks at the top, tasks here, you can see all your tasks, what's completed, what needs to be done, etc. So that's the one we just created. For example, we've got write article, create meal plan, provide TV recommendations, etc. And that is super easy. If you want to delete any of these, just click delete like so. So I'm going to delete that. Let's have a look what else we got. We'll delete the write article option. Some of this stuff is super old. Like I think this was when it first came out in January, which feels like a long time ago now. And then we can delete these, right? And if you ever want to see some examples, you can just go on like that, right? You can see what's been created and what's been built. So pretty powerful stuff. And again, with ChatGPT 03, it's just an absolute game changer because you're going to get much better results, right? You could also go back and forth. So if you have any changes here, you can say inside the chat here, okay, change that to 8 p.m. And then you could also say, okay, plus give me instructions to automatically filter any emails from ChatGPT by Gmail to a separate folder, right? Because maybe you want to create a separate folder inside your emails where all of this stuff just gets sent off to a separate inbox, right? So for example, if we get daily updates from tasks to do inside ChatGPT, well, we can just filter that off to a separate folder inside the label section here, automatically label the email, and then boom, we've got it. And that shows you exactly how to do it. In fact, I'll put that inside the AI Profit Boardroom as well. Link in the comments and description if you want to get access to this. And you can just steal the instructions from me. There we go. So it's pretty cool. That is upgrade number 2. So just to be clear here, I want to recap on where we're up to. Upgrade number 1 was that you can now use ChatGPT 03 for 100 messages per week, not just 50. Update number 2, you can now schedule and automate tasks using ChatGPT. Super easy, super powerful, using the process I've just given you. And the best thing about this is these are very, very personalized, plus well thought out and actually useful. Like they actually have a use case. Whereas previously, you know, without the new memory feature that came out from ChatGPT and without O3 reasoning power, the tasks you automate were very, very generic, right? And not that useful. That's why I never really talked about that option very much previously. So let's talk about the final update, which is the images section inside ChatGPT. So this literally just got announced very, very recent. I think it was like yesterday, something like that. So let me show you exactly what I mean, right? So inside ChatGPT, if you go to platform.openai.com/playground/images, you can go to the images section over here, and you can actually just create images using the playground feature. Now, there's quite a few big differences here, right? For example, you can actually change the size of the image. So you've got square, portrait, landscape, and you can change the quality. So you've got high, medium, low. You don't seem to be able to do that inside ChatGPT like normally, you know, when you're generating images. So if I go to my library, for example, I'm gonna have a look at this image that we created. It takes quite a while to create that, simply because you're going back and forth inside ChatGPT, you're messing around, etc., and it's just not that useful. Let me show you an example of what I mean, right? So I'm going to upload an image. Maybe just I'll take the an image from the live stream that we're doing right now, right? So if I take this image right here, I'm like, okay, change the headline to crazy update. Right, and I have to put all these instructions underneath to make sure it's the right dimensions. Whereas, for example, inside ChatGPT here, you can just select landscape. I don't have to keep iterating it and telling it like every single time to improve it, right? Also, I need to change that. That's going to use the thinking model. I'm just going to change that to 04. So if we just upload that image, and we'll change that. Right, you don't really get much customization over the create image option. Whereas inside images in Playground, you can actually choose how many images you want. So you can select like 10, which is pretty crazy. You can change between square, portrait, landscape, high, medium, and low. And then also here you've actually got a bunch of templates, right? So for example, you could say, okay, generate an image, and then we'll say, you know, for my SEO agency. I'm just going to change that option so that I don't rinse my credits to like 5, something like that. And then we'll hit enter like so. And also you get this history option in the background so you can see like previous chats and that sort of thing. So you see here, right, this is the other thing about ChatGPT here as well, is like it always cuts off the text on the side. And I always have to go in, select that to change the images, and then say like add more space here, right? And even if I put it in the instructions, it just seems to forget. So let's see what we got back here. And also, I think it's super useful just to change between quality levels here and how many images you generate. I think that's going to be a lot faster, especially if you're someone like me who's like generating a lot of thumbnails and that sort of thing for YouTube. Like you're just going to get better results here. And then we've got the image back. All right, so let's try this now. What I'm going to do, and I'll show you side by side. So we're going to select landscape, quality. I'm just going to go with medium for the sake of speed today. And then I'm going to upload this. I'm going to see if this works. We'll test it out. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I assume that it would work based on what ChatGPT is offering here. So we're going to say change the headline to crazy ChatGPT update. Number of images 5. I also think this will be awesome for like generating Facebook ad creatives as well. Probably going to take about 34-35 seconds there. And we'll see what we get back in a sec. There we go. See, like how crazy is that? It actually adds the space on the left. Whereas on ChatGPT images, it will always cut off the text. So I think the quality of the outputs is much, much better inside the playground version of OpenAI versus just using ChatGPT directly. Also, the dimensions are going to be better. You do get the code for that as well, so you can embed it if you want to as well. And yeah, and then if you just want to download it, you can just click on download over here, or you can edit the prompt. You can also add that to the prompt, so you can add that as a thumbnail prompt right there. And yeah, absolutely awesome. Now, also, it's created 5 different versions, right? We were talking about that before. So you can see here, you can flick between the versions. So you see how we're clicking the arrows there? Pretty good and useful. So that's the 3 upgrades from ChatGPT. Number 1, the images upgrade. Number 2, the scheduling tasks upgrade. And number 3, the fact that you can use ChatGPT o3 for 100 messages per week, not just for 50 messages per week, right? It's much more unlocked. It's unleashed, my friends. So that's basically it. If you want to get all the notes from today, all the example prompts, plus all of my best recipes, which pretty much get updated daily, you can see all the stuff we've added in April, like the value of this just expands exponentially. You can see from March as well, all these different upgrades that we added. And also, this is a community just focused on making more money and saving time with AI, right? So if you want to do both of those things, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Always adding new courses, new sections, etc. And additionally, inside the community here, you can ask any questions you have, right? So if you're struggling with anything, you can ask 659 members any questions that you have, and yeah, get help that way. All right. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to book that in. We'll show you how to get more free leads, customers, and sales with SEO, so you can get more free customers from Google and boost your profit margins without paying for ads. If you want to get that, link in the comments description. We'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you get a free SEO domination plan, so you get a custom tailored game plan so you can generate more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, and you get your questions answered. Any questions before we move on to the next topic? ChatGPT and OpenAI have just launched a brand new images feature, which is an upgrade to building images with ChatGPT. It's pretty wild. I've just tested it and it looks really, really cool. So basically, Sam Altman just announced a few hours ago the image gen is launched in the OpenAI API, right? And basically, you can use this to build images with the API version of ChatGPT, and you get a lot more features. So for example, you can control moderation, sensitivity with the moderation parameter. You can also control things like quality versus generation speed, background, output, format, etc. So let's run into exactly how to do this. So you can see the details right here. You can try it directly in Playground. This is the announcement from ChatGPT. And if you go to the images section of platform.openai.com, you can go to the Playground, go to the images section, and then start using it directly right here. So ChatGPT have said, when we introduced image generation ChatGPT last month, quickly became one of the most popular features. Over 130 million users around the world created over 700 million images in the first week. And today, they've said they're bringing the natively multimodal model that powers this experience in ChatGPT to the API via GPT Image 1, right? Enabling developers and businesses to easily integrate high-quality professional-grade image generation directly into their tools and platforms, right? So pretty cool stuff right here. If we go to the APIs, so we can generate, number one, we can generate images inside the images section here. So you can go inside here and you actually get a lot more freedom inside the Playground versus ChatGPT. So for example, let's say I'm trying to edit an image from ChatGPT, right? Like a thumbnail like this one, for example. We can say, okay, change the text from insane update to new ChatGPT 03 upgrade, something like that, right? And we'll do that inside, for example, ChatGPT 4.0, like you can see right here. And it will use the images feature, but typically there's quite a few bugs and it takes a lot more time to go back and forth. Now let me show you exactly what it looks like inside the Playground. So if we put exactly the same prompt here, we're going to upload exactly the same image, but you actually get way more customization over the process, right? So for example, you can, number one, select all these different templates like you can see. So these are pre-built in prompts, and you can actually save your own prompts inside there too. I'll come on to that in a second. Then you can switch between the size. So you can say portrait, landscape, or square, which is really good because inside ChatGPT, normally, if you're generating images, let's say this needs to be a square, this needs to be a landscape form, right? Like it's a YouTube thumbnail. But you can see that ChatGPT changes the image from landscape thumbnail version to like a square over here. No bueno, right? Whereas if we go inside the images section here, we can actually go to landscape. So we can select landscape as the default dimensions, and we can also change the quality. So if you select medium, it's going to generate a lot faster versus high, I think. And obviously, if you select low, like that's going to be the fastest generation, but the lowest quality. But if you're just trying to get like a better image and come up with designs quickly, you could start with low and then press high once you're happy with the final design. Just ask it to upgrade the quality. Right. So, for example, if we say change the text from insane update to new ChatGPT 03 upgrade, we can also change how many images we generate at a time. So you can select, okay, I want to generate maximum 10 images rather than 5 or 1, which is really useful as well. And then you also get the timer here, so you can see how long it takes to generate that image, right? And if you look at this image as well, like literally all we wanted to do was change the header, right? So we just wanted to change insane update to new ChatGPT 03 upgrade. And what do we get? We get like this mess at the bottom, a square dimension image, right? And it's just not as smart. If we open up this one, you can see that it's done it perfectly, right? This is exactly what we wanted it to do. Obviously, the quality is low, but you can upgrade the quality in a second. And then you can see it's actually, with the same prompt, created a much better version of the image we wanted to generate, right? So that's basically how it does, right? Johnny is saying, can you give us an image of a good YouTube thumbnail? So you can see here's an example right here. I mean, this is one I'm using for this literal video. And then I1 Tara says, is O3 good at writing? No, I wouldn't recommend it. I would much rather use Gemini 2.5 Pro for writing or Claude 3.7 Sonnet. So essentially that's it. By the way, if you're watching the recording of this, feel free to join the AI Profit Boardroom and you can get weekly Q&As with us if you want to learn and ask questions in real time and make sure you don't miss these sessions. So you can see how much better the outputs are inside the playground. It is a huge update. Like, it's not just like you can do the same thing. It's like you can do much more. And also, here's the other thing as well. So if we go to the plus sign over here, we can actually add that to the prompt. So we can take the previous prompt, and we can take the previous image, and then save that down there. Does that make sense? So you can actually find the image from your library that you want to edit, click the plus sign, go inside the chat, and that will edit it for you. You can also, for example, click on the edit, and that will edit the prompt right there. So it's really powerful, and it just gives you much better results versus what you previously did. Then you can also view your history. You can clear your images as well. But yeah, good stuff. So there is an API for this as well. So if we go to dashboard, I want to see how we can build with this, right? So let's go to assistance here. Maybe we can create like a thumbnail designer. I want to go back to here and just see, can we actually use the API? So it's GPT image 1 is called. That is the model from the API. GPT image 1. So if you want to build with this, you can build using GPT image 1. I want to see how we can, how can we start using this? Let's have a look. So this is quite interesting. This is a new tool that's been built with Opus Clip. So Opus Clip thumbnail it's called. You can basically create thumbnails just by dropping a link to your YouTube video, right? So you can imagine all the tools that are going to come out when people start building with this as well. It's going to be super powerful. Canva are using it as well. I can imagine just creating images, especially YouTube thumbnails or static Facebook ads, imagery, etc. It's going to be much easier to do before we can start using it. They've also got a bunch of guidelines on how to generate images directly here. So you can see, for example, you can switch between the DALL-E models, but also GPT image. It does say on this page, it says responses API coming soon, but you can use the image API to generate images. And these are the endpoints for editing and building them. Honestly, I think for now, like from what I can see inside the models and everything else, it seems a lot easier just to use it inside the playground. And then you get better responses. But if you're trying to build tools with it, I can imagine the API is going to be super powerful stuff. Let's now test this out, right? So for example, if we take an example screenshot from one of my videos, we'll take this one. I'm going to grab the screenshot like so. And then I'm going to go inside ChatGPT and inside here as well. So you can copy and paste images into the playground. We'll just compare them side by side and see which one gives us the better outputs, right? So I'm going to stick with just 2 images for now. And then we'll say, okay, make a better YouTube thumbnail for this. I'm going to switch the settings to medium just to make it faster. And then also we'll change the dimensions to landscape for thumbnail. See what we get back. We'll do the same thing inside ChatGPT. And we'll just compare which one gives us the best outputs. I think you're still looking at like, I mean, it's faster, number one, to generate as well. Look at that. So this is still loading right now. Whereas inside ChatGPT, inside the playground, is much faster, right? So ChatGPT is super slow, it's still loading. We basically gave the prompt at the same time. The playground gave us a much faster output. If we want to view it full screen, we can as well. And let's compare, is it actually better? I would say in many ways it is. Let's see if that fits as well into YouTube thumbnail dimensions. It's going to be interesting. So if we go into Canva, we'll just see, okay, does this work or not? I'm going to stretch that out here. Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? If we compare that thumbnail versus this one, I mean, it's very similar, to be fair. I think like you could get more creative outputs out of that, but still it's pretty decent. Let's have a look at the next version. So it's created 2 different versions, but I'm going to say, let's edit the prompt here. And we'll say, okay, make it sleeker, more attention grabbing, more scary, etc. And then if we go inside ChatGPT, I mean, it's just giving us a square, isn't it? And it's also totally, I think it's destroyed Make.com's image logo as well. Like, look at the original. So that's what the original logo looked like. And they've just destroyed it, but really subtly. So honestly, like using the playground version, the new update from ChatGPT for generating images, you can see like there's a huge difference. And actually, this is nowhere near good enough versus this. So here's another version. Again, it doesn't change the logo, doesn't mess it up or anything like that, but it's working perfectly, which is perfect. Now, let's try another one. So I'm going to go into some of our examples here, and I'll take an image from previous thumbnails, but one with my face on, like, for example, this one, all right? So we'll take that. We'll download that. And just take the current image. Now, if we grab that inside the chat, compare it versus the playground. And then we're going to say inside here, okay, make this into a Ghibli style image. I wonder if it's going to do it actually. It's going to be interesting to see this, see if it still does it. And then we'll do the same inside ChatGPT. Compare the outputs. Here we go. So I actually did it. That's on quality medium. I think for this sort of image, actually, it'd be much better to set the quality as high. Again, you can see it has cut off the space there on the sides, which is no bueno in my eyes, to be honest with you. But, you know, you can always go back and forth with it a bit later. Let's see what ChatGPT does. I mean, again, it's in square dimensions, which doesn't make any sense, but I guess you'd have to change the prompt to fix that. To be fair, this time the output is actually better inside ChatGPT, I would say. I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to change this to quality high. And I'm going to say, make sure none of the text gets cut off on the sides. That one's pretty cool, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's try another one now. So I'm going to take this image. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, let's take this one right here. So we'll take that, plug that in, take the current image. By the way, that is a much better output on high quality. Right? The text is still cut off, which is super annoying, but okay. Better outputs. I think honestly ChatGPT won that one. So let's go back inside ChatGPT, use exactly the same prompt, and we'll say our thumbnail. And then what do we want to change about this? So change to new. Insane images update. And then if we have a look here, we want to change that. So I'm going to put change GPT-4o to images. Everything else can stay the same, I think. So let's do the same inside ChatGPT here, inside the playground, sorry. So landscape high. See what we get back. You see how it's cutting off the text on the side there again? You can already see with the word insane. It's cutting it off. It doesn't like the word. This is taking ages on ChatGPT on the OpenAI playground. Here we go. Images update. Okay. I'm just going to edit that. We'll say fix this image. In fact, what I'll do is I'll download it. Grab the download, plug that in. Say fix this image, add way more space on the side so the text doesn't get cut off. Same for this. By the way, the amount of money we save on design is absolutely insane now because of this update. Like, we used to pay a thumbnail editor, I think it was like $1,000 a week, and now we have ChatGPT AI images, and it's doing pretty much the same job. It does it faster, and also it can come up with new designs that maybe a human couldn't do because it's open to more possibilities. Pretty crazy stuff. That seems to have got more space here, so you can see the space on the side, and you can actually read the full word, which is great. This is finished. Here we go. All right, perfect. Boom shakalaka. So let's scroll up here, and that should be good to go for a YouTube thumbnail. Pretty nice. That is beautiful, isn't it? All right, we'll download that. And normally as well, just so you know, like if you're trying to do this yourself, maybe you're doing it for Facebook ads or thumbnails, whatever, I usually use Canva just to resize and make sure the image is on the right landscape, right? So for example, if it's a YouTube thumbnail, I've got all my thumbnails in one place, and then it's quite easy for me to just like resize any AI images using this process. So pretty cool right there. Which one do I prefer? I would say like, I think yeah, for sure, this thumbnail is better, right, in the way that it's designed and everything else, but they're both pretty decent right there. Looking pretty good. So that is it. That's essentially the AI images update from ChatGPT. It is a game changer. I mean, the fact that you can generate multiple images at once as well is pretty cool. So we can flip between these, and you can see here's another one that's created as well. And then also the fact that you can see all your images in one library. You can just go to the image section here. You don't need to mess around. It's plugged in with all your dimensions. You can create 10 images at once if you want to as well. And then also you got a bunch of templates here, and you can attach like images and stuff as well. So pretty cool stuff. If you want to get all of my best SOPs and my community for making money and saving time with AI, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. Inside here, you're going to get weekly Q&A calls, so you can jump on the weekly Q&As, ask us any questions you have. They actually get recorded if you want to watch them back as well, as you can see right here. This also comes with all of our best SOPs, a crash course on how we've implemented AI into our business to make money, and also an amazing community of people that you can just post inside here, ask any questions that you have, and get any help that you need. All right, so feel free to get that link inside the comments and description. Additionally, if you want to learn how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month from SEO, feel free to get that link in the comments and description. Basically, we're going to show you how to scale your business and get more free customers, leads, and profits to your website using SEO. You'll get a custom tailored game plan that would normally cost you thousands of dollars. Plus, you can ask our world-class experts any questions you have live on the call. And this is based on what's working for all of our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments and the description. And feel free to ask any questions before we move on to the next thing. So next up, I'm actually going to show a really interesting new Chrome browser that pretty much blew me away when I saw it. So we're going to be testing that out in a second. But again, like I say, if you have any questions, feel free to ask before we move on to that. What sort of AIs are you using right now? Anyone using any sort of like computer use agents? So today we're going to be testing out Retriever, which is a free Chrome extension. You can get it at retriever.ai. All the notes inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you just want to get the full recipe from me. And essentially, this just links straight into your Chrome browser, but it can automate a lot of tasks inside your existing Chrome mention, right? So for example, if we go across here, you can see, for example, you can link this to Google Sheets, you can work across tabs, you can use your current tab, etc. And then you can choose what you want to do. And you can also enter prompts here. So let's say, for example, we're like, okay, find the S&P 500 price. We can switch between at, crawl, and extract. So we'll click on at and just test to see what happens here. So you can actually work across different pages, and also you can click on like new chat here as well. So let's say, for example, do deep tab research on Retriever AI. It's going to start working its magic now. We can also work across tabs and sheet flow. So let's test it out, see what we get back. So here we're testing out, we're saying, right, extract the page, right? So scrape the key data about this person. And then you can see it's running the task right here. So let's see how it goes. This is pretty slow, to be fair. We can pause the task if we want to. Let's have a look in the settings as well, what we've got this set on. So we're using Gemini Flash here. Maximum number of tabs open 12. Page delay 1,000. And then we've got the credits here. So you actually do get 53 credits on the free plan. It's running the sheet flow now. This is super slow. All right. I'm not impressed with this tool at all. I thought it'd be, I've heard good things, but this one is not working. I'm sticking to my ChatGPT 3 updates. I might test it out more, but right now it's super, super slow. Let's have a look what else we can do. So if we tell it to act, agentic action, find NVIDIA price. All right, let's try that. And we've got advanced options here as well. So say, okay, find the S&P 500 price, click act, see what it does. So you can go straight onto Google. Look at that. That's pretty cool, to be fair. That's super fast. That's pretty crazy. So it's like, let's see. All right. So there's some things I really like on this. There's some things I'm like, okay, this is okay. So bear in mind, this is free for like 50 actions. Seems to be super slow when it's like scraping pages. But for example, finding S&P 500 prices, that sort of thing seems pretty good at. Let's do another one now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, search linkedin.com for CEOs who run an SEO agency. See if that works. So it's going to linkedin.com. This is pretty crazy because it's like, it's literally connected to my main Chrome setup. Now it's going into the search bar. And it's actually searching for CEOs. So you can see it's done the search right here. And it's scraping all that data. Look at this. And then it gives you the information. So it's like, right. I mean, the search it's done itself is not great, to be honest. It's like CEOs who run an SEO agency. It could be a lot smarter when it comes to using that. But the fact that you can just log into your main social media, start searching through it, scrape all the data, like you can see here. So if we actually widen this, you can see all the details of what it scraped. And it's got the name, the role, etc., URL of the person. And it literally was so fast in doing that. That's crazy stuff. All right, let's try something else now. So I'm going to say, okay, go to x.com and post interesting quote about AI. We'll see if it can do that. All right. So the cool thing about this is like I would use something like Rucode to help me on this. And the problem with Rucode is like it's quite technical for most people to set up, so it's not easily accessible. Number two, you have to set up Chrome debugging, so that's a bit of a nightmare. And number three, it can't log into your existing actions. So let's see if it can do its magic. Boom, look at that. It's actually posted it. So you can see it's gone on to x.com. It's put the details as me, and actually posted a quote. That's pretty crazy stuff right there. Cool. And you see here it confirms agentic action response. The post has been successfully sent. It's actually amazing how fast that is. Let's try something else now. So I'm going to say start a new Google Doc. And bear in mind, like this is just a Chrome extension, so you don't need to plug in your API key either. You can use it for free for 50 free responses. And also, it seems way faster than anything else I've seen. So we'll say, okay, start a new Google Doc and write an article about SEO. So it's going to docs.google.com. You can see it's using the thinking process as well. So it's like, right, the user wants me to do this, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we're going to do. Typing into the article. Is making sure it's actually done the right thing. Does seem to be struggling to type into the article, but we'll see what it does. I'm going to give it some more details here. So I want to say, okay, just write the article in the Google Doc you've got open. See if it can do that. And it's totally struggling with that. All right, let's give it a new task now. So we're going to say, okay, go to ChatGPT and have a conversation about the future of AI. So it's gone on to ChatGPT here directly. But it can't figure out how to type in the prompt. Yeah, I'm not that impressed so far. Oh, let's go. It's having another whirl now. It might have been because it was in responsive mode. So you can see here now that we've moved this box to the right further. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so it can actually have a conversation with AI as well. Let's see now if we say, okay, go to see if bolt.news logged in here. All right, it's logged in. All right, so we're going to go inside here and we'll say, okay, create an SEO keyword tool using bolt.new. Make sure be patient and wait for it to complete. So it's gone to bolt.new. It's created an SEO keyword tool, so it's waiting for it to do its job. The one thing that I typically find with like computer use is like it's quite it gives up easily, if this doesn't reply straight away. So let's see what we get back. To be fair, like I've not touched anything. I've just given the prompt to the AI, and it's actually gone off and do it. I was expecting like ChatGPT or Google to release something like this year, but it seems like Retriever AI have actually beat them to it. It's pretty crazy. That is wild. So you can get the AI agent to go onto LinkedIn, find leads for you. You can get it to search for stock prices. You could also, for example, get it to build tools for you and that sort of thing in different tabs. You can log in to your browser. It's a one-click install with the Chrome extension, and it's free for like 50 credits or something like that. And then also, the interesting thing about this is you can automate your social media. So you can get it to send emails probably for you, or you could get it to go on to LinkedIn and post an update, or Twitter, etc., like I've shown you today already. So wild stuff. Wild stuff. It is much easier. I do think it's got some limitations. So, for example, like deep research tasks, if we wanted it to do a deep research task, it's going to probably take about 10 or 15 minutes, kind of like other AI models. So I can't really show you that live on the video, and that's probably why it failed before. But for stuff like this, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's waiting for it to roll out. It's doing its magic. It's being super patient. And that's what we want. And then that should be good to go. If we preview it now, you can see that the AI agent, so our browser agent Retriever AI, has just gone off and built an SEO keyword research tool. Pretty cool. I mean, there's so much you can do with this. Like anything that you do where it's just clicking buttons, I'm pretty sure you can just get the AI to figure it out for you and then get it, to go off and use your computer use essentially. So crazy stuff. Definitely good once you get your head around it. You just have to understand the limitations. Also, there's tons more stuff we can do here, like you can see right here. So we can actually work across tabs, search tabs, etc. And it also has these Google Sheets integrations as well. So like extracting information or keyword searching and that sort of thing. So yeah, really, really cool. Again, that's available at Retriever AI. You can see, you might be wondering, okay, what are the use cases for this? So like web research, data extraction, website automation, spreadsheet tasks, repetitive task automation, form filling stuff, interacting with PDFs, and multi-tab contextual analysis as well. So it's pretty cool. We've got a full recipe inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to get access to that, and it is absolutely awesome. Also, this community, it comes with tons of tutorials on how to use AI to make you money and save you time. So feel free to get that link in the comments and description. And this also comes with weekly Q&A calls, so you can ask any questions on the Q&A calls, and you can also ask the community any questions you have directly here as well. And also inside the classroom here, inside the SOPs, we just add in new SOPs pretty much every single day, right? So you can see we added 2 new SOPs and we're constantly upgrading this. So feel free to get it, link in the comments and description. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales with SEO, feel free to get that. And this will give you basically a custom tailored game plan to grow your business with SEO based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. And also on that call, you can ask any questions one-to-one that you have so that you can get your questions answered and just go back and forth inside the call. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.